Hello there everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. This is actually the last video I'm going to be recording before I go off on holiday. And I'm not sure which day it's going to come out on, but I hope you'll enjoy it anyway. But basically, at the time of recording, I've just been able to watch the preview of the Iron Twins Fortress, right? The new dungeon coming to the game. We got to see all the different abilities of the boss, and what I've done is I've theory crafted up a few teams for what I'm thinking I might do. Of course, as we know with this boss, if we jump back here, so I'm just doing some trying to get stuff done, all faction wars and Doom Tower and stuff in the background, just getting the grind in before we go. The last little bit of grinding, but yeah. The thing about this boss is that you're going to have to progress on it, actually much like the potion keeps, where there's going to be a different affinity open each day. Each different affinity is going to have its own progression, right? So if you get up to, let's say, stage 10 in the void affinity stage 10, that doesn't push up your other affinities. Like, you've got to climb up to stage 10 independently in force affinity, in magic, and all the rest. I think there's 15 stages total, I believe, for this dungeon. So we got to come up with teams for each different affinity. So these are the teams that I've been coming up with. First of all, let's look at Void. And let's also, actually, before we look at Void, let us talk about the different skills and what we've got going on. Brief little summary here of what's happening. So the A1 here of the boss basically puts out a bunch of debuffs that you really, I think, want to resist or be cleansing, right? Decrease crit rate for 4 turns, weaken for 4 turns, then AoE, decrease attack for 4 turns, and decrease defense for 4 turns. These are really nasty debuffs. These last a long time. So definitely you want to have block debuffs up most of the time to block these, or possibly a cleanser. That's something we're going to look into. And it's going to be a big question, actually. It's going to be, how much do you actually need block debuffs? Or is a cleanser actually maybe a better way to do it? He's probably not doing this every single turn. We'll have to see with the speeds and how it works out. Then he's got 2 abilities which are very similar. I think it's A2, AoE attack, which is going to put an Iron Brand debuff and just stack it up. It gives more stacks the higher your defense is, from 10 down to, I think, 6 is the minimum that he does, I think. And then he also extends it. And then his other one is another AoE that does the same thing, Iron Brand debuffs, but it will be higher depending on how high your attack is. So sort of distributed, weighted towards your higher attack champions. And then the Doomsday Machine, he only uses this skill when his health is below 40%. So it's definitely the interesting thing about this boss. It's going to be really hard for that last 40% HP. So he's going to use these 2 AoEs, right, stacking up Iron Brand. When he's above 40% HP, then they get turned off and he starts using Doomsday Machine instead, which is a double hitter that is going to extend an Iron Brand debuff, right, based off of your stuff. And then he's going to do a massive hit, which is going to do more damage. Where is it? I don't know. Okay, I guess not. Well, he does a big hit anyway, and then he fires a big laser beam. The important thing about this is it hits harder the more of these Iron Brand stacks you have on. That's the reason why they're so bad. It's just sort of a timer on the fight. You're going to need to be able to take really big hits when he's low on life. And it's going to be nasty. It's going to be nasty. And you're going to need to kill him quickly because he's going to wipe you, I think, pretty quickly with this. Then he also, this is another big thing, this Retaliate or Relaunch. This is a passive. Like the Ice Golem passive, this could be real nasty. Whenever his HP goes below 85, 70, 55, and 40%, instantly attacks all enemies and removes all debuffs from the boss. Fills his turn meter by 10% whenever one of your team gets any buff, right? That doesn't happen, though, if you've got decreased speed. And then another real nasty thing here is this. He takes 50% less damage from each subsequent hit from multi-hit skills. And that definitely sucks. So that's going to just stack up and up and up. So that really makes a lot of nukers a lot weaker. Like a Crew Traxa A1 is not going to do much damage at all. It's going to be really, really reduced. So those are sort of the things we're looking for. I think generally speaking, we're definitely going to want a cleanser. Going to want a cleanser in to deal with this. And then I definitely think that, I think you don't really need to worry too much about these AoEs in particular, but I think this Doomsday Machine you do have to worry about. And I think these retaliation strikes you're going to need to worry about. You're going to need to have like good uptime, I think, of things like shielding, strengthen, increased defense, ally protection. You might want some good healing, some reviving. I think it's going to be quite nasty. Right. Let's look at the team. So first team up, this is my Void team. I'm thinking something like this. So I'm actually slotting Whisper in as the damage. I think Whisper could be insane. You guys know I love my Whisper in Hydra. She is so damn good. She comes in, massive single target hit here. It's a one hitter that ignores defense if the target's under weaken. So I feel like this move is going to be absolutely incredible. Her A1 is also a single hit that places weaken. Her A3 then is a double hitter. So the second hit I believe is going to do half damage, but it does give you an extra turn if those debuffs are on. So I think she should be quite good. She obviously has a chance for extra turns whenever she lands a crit. Does more damage to bosses. The scary thing with her, I suppose, is she could be quite difficult to keep alive. So we'll see. I was as well thinking of Turvold. I was definitely thinking of Turvold, but both of his hits are double hitters. So although he hits really hard, I'm not sure against this boss with its passive if he will be able to outdamage Whisper. It's something for us to test. Krisk is coming in, really no surprise. Going to be providing decreased defense, decreased attack. He also brings that decreased speed. He brings ally protection and extends our buffs to keep that up all the time. So I think he's going to be amazing for protecting the team. Yeah, just protecting the team, getting that decreased speed on so the boss doesn't run away from us. I think he's going to be insane for this. He's super OP. I think Void, if you got good Void legendaries like this, it's going to be quite a bit easier. I'm going to bring in Mithrala, I think. I think she's going to do pretty good damage with these poisons. They're going to get cleansed off, but it's not a big deal. I think it's actually going to do good damage. Increase defense and increase attack. That's quite nice, mostly for the increased defense. The big thing, though, is this, right? She brings that cleanse, strengthen, and a really good shield on a short cooldown. So I think that is going to be key to surviving against this boss. Godseeker Aniri, she's in just to heal us and revive us, extend our buffs. So she's in there to make sure Whisper don't die and Krisk doesn't die from the ally protection stuff. And then I'm thinking maybe this slot's a bit up for debate. This is a Skytouch Shaman. I'm thinking she might be good. She gives us another cleanse with block debuffs this time and revive on death. I think those two things could be insanely good against this boss. And then her passive does a ton of healing. Heals all allies equal to half of the lost hit points on this champion. So build her with high HP. Mine actually doesn't have very high HP, but you could build her with really high HP. She just heals your team basically to full whenever she takes a turn. And with Godseeker having like a couple of different revives here, I think she should hopefully be able to pick her up. And yeah, I'm thinking this might be a decent team. So that's sort of what I'm thinking about the Void. The Void team is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. I think it looks pretty decent. I think Krisk is sort of the MVP. I guess one of the downsides is the only decreased speed is Krisk's A1, which might not be super reliable, but we've got lots of buff extension. We've got lots of cleansing, lots of healing, lots of shielding, and Whisper hopefully can carry the damage by herself. We've decreased defense and weaken. Now, for magic affinity, this one is maybe a bit spicy. Lord Chamfort, believe it or not, is looking like one of my front runners here. By the way, Whisper has a attack in all dungeons aura. I think that's probably quite solid. Lord Chamfort has a 50% ally HP in dungeons aura. I think that's actually so good for this, right? That's so strong. And what I'm thinking for this magic affinity team, Chamfort, he also brings us decreased speed, the small version, but it still counts whenever an enemy attacks this champion. So Chamfort should mostly keep up decreased speed on that boss nearly the whole time, which I think is going to be very, very helpful. He brings decreased defense, and he also brings decreased accuracy and decreased attack. So I think between his aura, the decreased speed, decreased accuracy and attack, preventing those debuffs, reducing the damage, I think he's going to be absolutely amazing for this. I think he's super good magic affinity. Brogni is coming in then, really no surprise. Block debuffs, increased attack is nice, and then a big old shield, and then the shield is going to be healing us, reflecting damage back. He can burn on his A1, not really built for that, mind you, but that's basically what Brogni is in for, is just shielding up the team and mitigating that damage. Ninja then is going to be the main damage dealer. Now, he has 3 hits at random. I'm very intrigued by this. Obviously, these multiple hits are supposed to scale down, but I don't believe, I could be wrong, I have a feeling that this HP burn activation is not going to scale down. It's still going to do the same amount of damage. So I think Ninja is actually going to be great. I think he's probably going to rip this boss apart with Hail Burn, which is fantastic. He's going to protect himself a bit with that Perfect Veil, which is good. Decreased defense. He's got them ignoring some defense on this move here too. I think Ninja is going to be great, and Escalation is going to have time to tick up. I think obviously people are going to be super jealous if you don't have Ninja. I get it, right? But I think anyone who does have Ninja, he's surely got to be He's like the ultimate boss killer, one of them. He's got to be top tier here for this boss, I'm expecting. I am actually thinking of bringing in Syl of the Drakes, which surprised me a bit, but I think I might. She has a decreased speed on her A1. Not the best chance, but hey, it's a bit of supplemental decreased speed. And that's just for the healing, to top us back up and revive us. Like if Ninja dies, she can revive Ninja. I think Brogni and Champfort are quite tanky, but Ninja might need some help. So I'm thinking this might be good. I guess we'll see. And then I am thinking of Dark Kale as well. Dark Kale, he does have decreased attack. So he's going to provide us more decreased attack and extending debuffs. And then just doing lots of poison damage to the boss. His A1 can activate HP burns and poisons. So I think, you know, he should be pretty good. He does apply quite a lot of poisons, but he's going to be able to rip them off and make them work even when the boss is sort of cleansing them off. So that's sort of my theory with this team. We'll see how it works. We'll see how it goes. For my Spirit Affinity team, this one is just totally different in every way. So Nekomothar, he's the first one going in. He has a 19% speed aura. And I think he's going to be amazing for this. He's giving us increased speed and turn meter, but then he's putting out decreased speed and leech. So that covers the speed aspect of this fight. Then he also has decreased attack A1. And then he also, this Rune of Haste, whenever debuffs are removed or expire, gets turn meter. Hey, guess what? The boss, every health chunk is going to cleanse himself. Probably going to just fill up Nekomothar's turn meter. Get him back to that decreased speed again quicker to keep control of the fight. The leech to keep us alive. So I'm feeling pretty good about him. Now the rest I'm not so super sure about. Tomb Lord is a question mark here. Tomb Lord is going to bring us decreased attack, decreased defense. He's also going to bring in poisons, which is really good. He's also very good. If he crits, he lands decreased speed. So he's a great option here too. Now, we don't really need the decreased speed because Nekmo is going to have it covered, but Tomb Lord's an option. I just figure with the poisons, he should be pretty good, and Blight should be quite useful as well. We'll see. Might switch him out. Iron Brago is not booked for me, but I think he's got to be very good here. He's going to increase all of our defense, make us a bit tankier, though the boss does ignore, I think, 30% of your defense with its big attack. So maybe Brago's not going to be amazing, but I think increased defense for 3 turns is still really good. Iron Brago does good damage as well, and he brings us decreased attack too. So I think this actually looks pretty good. He needs a lot of books, so I probably should start saving, but I think he needs to be solid. Tatura then gives us block debuffs and more increased defense. He also brings decreased accuracy, which I think is going to be very nice against this boss, though he doesn't have much accuracy. And then he does bring Perfect Veil for the team, reduce their damage a bit, and a shield for himself. And then I think the one that really stands out to me is probably going to be insane for this is Helicath, who also for me is not booked, but block damage for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Increased defense when it expires, then a massive shield as well. He brings weaken on his A1. He counterattacks too. I think Helicath has got to be the MVP. I don't believe the boss hits through block damage, and I don't believe he hits through shields. I could be wrong about that, but I think that Helicath has got to be pretty much the ultimate support. So this team is a question mark. This team doesn't have any reviver. We don't have a healer apart from leech. So it's a little sketchy. I don't know if it's going to work, but maybe. I certainly think that Nekmo and Helicath, their 2 recent champions, I think, are just insane for this. Tatura, I think, also insane. Might need to build up more accuracy. Raf Matab could be an interesting one. Melga could be good just to heal and shield and all that. I don't know. So we'll see with the Spirit one. And then you can see I'm still struggling, I think, most with Spirit and Force. Force one, I'm really not sure about. I do think Mother Cybele is going to be my go-to. 24% speed aura for all battles. And she brings decreased speed. 50% chance. So not super reliable, but it's okay. Then she brings Revive on Death, increased defense. If you guys haven't seen my Bommel video, I use her to beat Bommel hard. She's amazing. I think she's going to be great for this as well. People keep dying. At the end of this fight, they just keep reviving on death, increased defense to mitigate the damage. If she ever dies, she's going to like fully heal. She gets revived. She does tons of healing. So I think she should be quite solid. I am thinking Geomancer, probably again the other really notable boss killer here, with putting on the HP burn and weaken and then reflecting damage. Maybe this isn't going to work because the boss cleanses himself, and this is really where Geomancer comes in. But I think he should be good, and the decreased accuracy A1 I think should be good too, so I'm kind of hopeful that this might work. Versalf the Grim, not booked, but I think he could be a very good option for this. He's going to bring increased defense and ally protection. So for keeping your team alive through these big hits, this guy could be nuts for Force Affinity. He also brings an AoE that can place Leech, so again, going to help you heal up. His A1 gives himself a shield, which is quite nice. And he does some provoke stuff, which is useless here. But yeah, I just think as an ally protector with Leech, I think he's a very, very good option. Rector Drathan, I'm looking to bring her in as a revive to keep us alive. Lots of healing and decrease attack. And then Sepulchre Sentinel, maybe, for decrease attack, good single target damage, and block debuffs. Block debuffs here as well. Untouched by Death, I think, is not super useful because this boss is really AoE hits, but maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I do feel like, what do you think of these teams? I feel like the Force team is definitely the weaker one. It's really a question of, will Geomancer work? And if Geomancer doesn't work, I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe Brachus, you know? Deliana actually could be okay, but she's more AoE focused. Canderfon could be okay, but I don't know. His A1 is only going to be a single hitter. It's not going to be that strong. Black Knight for healing. The problem here with Razin is he has a triple hitter, so that's not going to be super good. And that's all my... I don't have that many Force legendaries, believe it or not. I don't have that many. Then we're looking at some of the more epics, and I don't... None of them are super standing out to me. Like, maybe counterattack is good. Maybe Skull Crusher would be the way to go. Ally protection, counterattack. But that's sort of all I've got. It's a bit weird. I mean, maybe I need to get Gomlock up and running. Maybe Gomlock is the guy to get up for this. Is Errol? Is this Errol? Has he been waiting for this? Errol coming in? No, he's got a triple hitter there. Single hit there. I guess, unfortunately, this one ignores defense, but yeah, maybe Errol's actually going to be quite good for this. Could it be? Could it be? But yeah, there you go. I mean, let me know. What do you guys think? What champions are you looking at? Are you looking at similar stuff? Are you looking at different stuff? Which affinities do you think are easy? Which do you think are hard? I do feel like the Void champions are so powerful that if you got any good Voids, that should make it quite doable. I think Magic then is probably the next easiest for most people. And then I think Spirit and Force are the much bigger question mark. I feel like there's way more good Spirit champions for this, believe it or not. But I still think it's gonna be still pretty tough, I think. I think it's still gonna be pretty tough. And a lot of it comes down to what legendaries you have. I think Shamrock's actually another good option with Revive on Death. He could be quite solid. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really fun theory crafting thing, though. I'm, for sure, very excited to get it. Operdin. Operdin's going to be a beast at this. Sigmund's even really not bad. He's a good one. He's good. Unfortunately, Gintoro, I think, because he has the big multi-hit, I think he's not that good. Probably he's going to mitigate his damage. I don't know. Anyway, there we go, guys. That's some of my theory crafting. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what teams you are thinking of. And who did I take out here? I've already forgotten. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.